I could live here, but I'm still in high gear, sweating and freezing 3,000 away. And old Pennsyltucky, 3-mile islands, the coal fires buckle, the miners highway. I love just to leave you, but it's good to see you. With all filled to death, hostile city, PA. Most out of the black lung, another of R.I.P, the boxer and saint. When he finally got caught, the cops made a few calls. They opened his cell, never fought him again. And old Pennsyltucky, 3-mile islands, the coal fires buckle, the miners highway. I love just to leave you, but it's good to see you. All filled the death, hostile city, PA. And all filled the death, hostile city, PA. Wake me up when Steel City's coal flies shining my way. Now I'm safe. Show with the tractor window, the gun shows got carousels and funnel cakes. It says church in neon and ask me what's beyond. If I had to guess, I'd say more of the same. And old Pennsyltucky, 3-mile islands, the coal fires buckle, the miners highway. I love just to leave you, but it's good to see you. Hostile city, PA. And all filled the death, hostile city, PA. And all filled the death, hostile city, PA. Hey, what's up? This is Kevo, and this is Chet from the Flannels, the Fisticuffs, the Scraps, many other bands. And we just did this song, "Oh Pennsyltucky" by Mischief Brew, ERIK PETERSON, R.I.P. It's good to see you, man. How you doing?
Too. Good.
So your current band, the Flannels, what kind of new material or surprises you have for us in store in the next couple months or so?
We have a couple songs we're working on right now for new ones. Currently, we're talking about getting in a studio to record. So hopefully, get something done, have that out. You know, next year sometime.
Awesome.
Hopefully, you know.
You guys planning like an actual tour, like around the East Coast or anything like that, or?
Haven't really, you know, talked too much about it, but we're usually pretty open about playing. So people have been throwing some stuff around about, you know, some one-off shows. Our drummer said about one down in I want to say like Virginia Beach area or something like that, and I had made the, you know, suggestion, you know, if we do that, might as well book some for on the way down and the way back, something. So maybe, I don't know. We all work a lot, and
yeah, understand.
Everybody's got families, so
yeah.
I mean, if it ever works out, I'm sure we would.
It's not
go.
Being a teenager anymore,
right?
You seem to have like a lot of influences. I mean, you're into bluegrass, you're into hardcore, you're into punk music. What are your earliest influences, like going from when you were like in junior high, which I assumes when you started getting into what you got into?
Yeah. 7th grade was like probably 12 years old was the first time I heard like punk rock. So that would have been No Effects, No Use for a Name, Lagwagon, The Misfits.
It's completely different than what you'd hear on the radio, you know what I mean? That's
Operation
the same deal
Ivy,
with
Screeching
me.
Weasel. That was the first time it was really ever, I'd ever heard it. So, and it all started with like, it was the Punkorama.
Oh, yeah. Punkorama like #3, I think, was my favorite one. Yeah.
2.1 was the one I had. I got it with a pair of Vans, and it just blew my mind. Like, these bands are like putting out records, and like the message in and the lyrics, it was like something I'd never seen before, and it was just, I just like fell in love with it instantly.
Best part about those albums too is they had like 20 some songs on them.
Just open you up to all
Yeah,
kinds of
yeah,
different bands.
it was great. Yeah, and I remember the fat music for fat people and short songs for short people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those were really cool too.
Those were all really great.
It's back when you can
records.
go into Hot Topic and get like an album like that for like a couple dollars.
Those had a big influence on finding
Yeah.
bands and just being able to find, because I didn't have a whole lot of money growing up, so like you get $4 together, you can get an album, bunch of different bands, songs you never heard before, and that really just like kind of opened it up to like buy these records album or buy these bands albums, and just
Yeah, absolutely.
it just kind of branched from there.
So what was your first punk show?
My first punk show, I was probably, it was 98, 99. It was 99, and it was at a church basement, which seemed very weird to me at the time because I'm super young, and I didn't know what to expect. I just heard people talk, punk rock bands, they're playing.
Yeah.
I'd never heard of any of the bands, and I figured I would just go. So I went by myself. I saw a couple people from school there. It was the first time I'd ever seen a mosh pit in person, so it was like very intimidating at first, but then a kid that I went to school with just grabbed a hold of me and just like kind of threw me in it, and that was like awesome. I thought that was the greatest thing ever.
Yeah,
Like,
that is cool.
the bands that played that were Chapter 5. Anybody that knows or has been around knows Chapter 5. Timmy, all those guys, great band, had a lot of influence on me locally. No Master Plan was another one, which I found out my buddy Sean was a part of way before I had met him, and then 10 Cent Wings. That was
Oh, okay, yeah.
my first show was to see
that
them,
band, yeah.
and that just, I never knew like local bands could have so much influence on somebody like they did me. And the craziest thing about it was following like 10 Cent Wings around as they play in town, go to as many shows as you can, and as the years progress, there's just more and more
They
people.
were a really influential band.
Oh,
around this
absolutely.
area, absolutely. Yeah.
And one of the funniest things was Mikey, who was in 10 Cent Wings, is actually in the Flannels, so I ended up being in a band with the guy who was in the band that did actually have a lot of influence on me to become a musician. And just knowing that there was punk rock in this area,
Yeah.
'cause it just seemed so distant from anything else I had known.
That's what's great and bad about this area. The one thing that sucks about this area is there's so many amazing bands, and they're in between two cities where you pretty much have to go to make it so-called big. I don't know. It's rough. Some of the best bands I've ever seen were not like the mainstream bands. Like my first concert was the Bouncing Souls and the Casualties, and I was like, wow, it doesn't get much better than this. 2 weeks later, I go to a basement show. I'm like, this was so much better. You know what I mean? You're against the wall and you can't move, and the bands are like screaming bloody murder. It's amazing.
My first like big show outside of a local punk show was actually Bouncing Souls and the Casualties also.
Was it at the Hub in State College in like 2001 or 2?
It was probably right around then, and it was.
It was
I
Roger
was-
Merritt and the Disasters there too?
Yes.
Yep, same show. Same show. That was my first
Like,
show.
I don't remember it being what they called it, something else. Did they used to call it like the Asylum or
Yes,
something
yep,
like that?
they used to, yeah.
Yeah, I was there at that show. That was to me that was like the Bouncing Souls, like they're
Yeah.
playing. It's
And,
like,
and
to
there
me,
was
they
no
were
security.
huge.
There was no security keeping you from the stage, so you could just jump on the stage back then. And I did that, and I was singing with Greg a little bit. It was pretty amazing. But yeah, and then you think it never gets better than this. But there's so many great local bands that some people will never hear of. That like the Whatleys, X's for Eyes. Those bands will always be my favorite bands.
Mm.
What does your onstage rig look like right now? What kind of equipment
Right
do you
now,
use?
I'm using a run 610, 210 cab and a 410 cab, just a carbon and a crate. Not real. Like I see a lot of people that are like real snobby about equipment as far as speakers
That's a lot of
go.
power, though. Yeah.
It's a lot. My head's a PV Max 700 watts. I'm a huge lover of PV. People left them kind of by the wayside when it comes to like quality for some reason, I feel like. But
Well, I was just talking to TJ last week when I did the show with him, and he swears by PV. I didn't, only by name, I was like, maybe PV's not that good, but when I practice with TJ, I use his PV amp, and it's one of the best amps I've ever played.
I mean, I've been
PVs
playing
are powerful.
PV bass amps for like the last 12 years or so, and I really don't have any complaint about them. Any tone I want, I can get from them. I'm not really held back by anything. And I just recently like came into the tone I've been like searching for. So like that whole amp rig has just been awesome. I mean, it's being a bass player. The only thing that sucks is it's like heavy. Everything's heavy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like my bass wise, I just invested in a G&L jazz bass, and it was.
Yeah, that thing's nasty. I heard it. So.
I love that thing, and I was like, I'm very stubborn with certain things, so like, I never went to single coil bass pickups. I'm like, no, you need like humbuckers, or you need like the single coil and the split coil like P bass and stuff like that, and I just could never get this tone I was looking for, and it was all in the jazz pickup. So like, since I bought that G&L, it's just really gave me a whole new love for playing again, just because I'm not so discouraged, because I'm like, I wish I could get this sound, and I could never get it, but now that I have it, it's like really helped me expand and just.
Yeah, your current band, the Flannels, they do have a really distinctive tone, and you can tell every single member in that band really cares about the way that they sound individually, and I think that's awesome with bands. I mean, I think that comes to musicians. It probably takes years to finally, get that, you know what I mean? I mean, for me, I remember playing in bands in like high school. We just cranked it up.
Yep, everything to 11.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, but that's one of the great things about your band. Like, yeah, you guys really do have a distinctive tone and a distinctive, unique sound too. I can't wait to hear more from you guys. And, check out the Flannels. There's a link below. You guys can check them out. And it's nice talking to you, Chet.
You too, Kev.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.